Hello guys, welcome to Africa Gossip Arena. So guys, right about now in this video, I'm going to be talking about the trending rumor right now in Nigeria. And guys, everywhere in Nigeria now, rumor of December stampede just dey fly everywhere. 10 persons don kpai for Abuja, 38 children don kpai for Ekiti. And Anambra sef, more than 20 people kpai for Anambra according to the rumor flying around everywhere as a result of hunger day. Wetin dey happen sef Nigerian? Wetin dey happen Nigeria government? Wetin dey happen politicians? Wetin dey happen Tinubu? Because hunger day, we think say na joke. We dey shout am, but the president keep a deaf ear to us. And last month, Davido came out to talk about the economy of Nigeria in an interview when he said that the economy of Nigeria is in shambles. But a lot of people came out to throw on Davido. A lot of people blast Davido, talk about Davido, even insulted Davido family. That why would Davido come out to speak ill about Nigeria economy, that the economy is in shambles. But this level of stampede going on in this country now, this dirty December right now in Nigeria, is as a result of hunger day. Because how will a person leave his family, tell his children, I'm coming, let me go and get a palliative that will eat on December, but on getting to that area, the person is nowhere to be found? How will children that their mother took out for an event, at the end of the day get to that event, the children were nowhere to be found? How will somebody go to a church to share a palliative, on the process of getting a palliative, the person die at that process? And due to the fact that the hunger in the land is much now, we thought that Obasanjo regime was good. We thought that Goodluck Jonathan regime was good. We thought that Buhari regime was good. Now we are all putting the problem on Tinubu. But let me tell you guys that Obasanjo has his own role to play in this hunger day in this country. Goodluck Jonathan regime has his own role to play in this hunger day in this country. Even the late Yar'Adua plays his own role in this hunger day in this country. Not only Tinubu that really caused this things. Those are the accumulation of problems that resulted to this level of hunger day right now. I'm not trying to support Tinubu administration here, no. But I'm just trying to state the fact that the Tinubu administration has hit what was gathered from our past leaders. So now the level of hunger day. But the problem I'm having right now with Tinubu administration, he still failed to play his own major role in the betterment of this. And Tinubu daughter also, the Yaloja of Lagos, have also come out to speak about the level of stampede in Nigeria, due to the fact that we are having a serious tough time now in the economy. And this is what she actually said. And guys, lest I forget, subscription to this channel is actually free. So if this is your first time of seeing this channel, please kindly do well to hit on the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on your notification bell, and also drop your opinion on the comment section.
Okay, so my country people, apparently the investigations where presidents go do with police for the people where they die for where they share food, they think go many. The investigation go long, go be like go be one. Yes, because following the more than 30 children where they say die for Ibadan, for where they struggle to collect food. Today, another news don't come now again. They say for Okija, for Anambra State, people they struggle to collect food. Some news say 10, some say 17, some say even 20 people. Unconfirmed reports don't die for where they struggle, mostly women and children. Also for Abuja, confirmed they say 10 dead, others injured for where they struggle to collect food. So the investigation where government want to do so, whether they want to investigate the source of poverty, or they want to investigate the cause of hunger, or they want to investigate whatever be the failure of the law enforcement crowd control, they think go menu. But before we even come to government, I want to take time to appeal to Nigerians. I take God beguna. In the name of God or whatever you hold sacred, we must take personal care and responsibility for our own lives. Not be said in the place you need to be alive for you to fit enjoy this food where you struggle to go collect. I take God beguna. Now person will die for this country, now him don't lose. So anybody will die now own don't finish. Everybody will move on. Nigeria, there is no appetite for you to be mourning. Now the family go the mourn. Even the family itself, Nigeria go still they happen to them. In the name of God, let us take caution. We know say hunger, the things are hard, there is desperation, but it should not lead you to go put yourself or where you go kill yourself before your time. I beg una in the name of God, how many be this bag of rice? How many be the liters of ororo where they share? Where person, mama, person picking don't die to wait for grand, they don't match them. How many days to Christmas? Nigeria, I take God beg una, if you sabi anybody wherever they share something, take it easy. Take it easy. You need to stay alive. Take it easy. So, but for government now, to you Nigerian leaders, President Tinubu, state governors, IG of police, as when they investigate the cause of the stampede, make the investigation also lead to the cause of poverty. Because this is the result when you have a successive governments that leave a legacy of poverty, hunger, hopelessness, starvation. It becomes survival of the fittest, desperation everywhere. Wherever they say that they share whether an assault, whether an cube of Maggie, Nigerians won't die there because everybody is struggling to survive. Offline and online beggars full everywhere. Nigerian leaders, so the investigation must cover there. As soon as they do budget, when they budget money to renovate President Villa, to buy SUV, to do that, and all of the money where politicians they embezzle. When they say one governor, they go allege you say you embezzle up to 100 billion. Courts go grant you bail of 500 million and you go pay. Person will embezzle up to 100 billion allegedly. If you come off 500 million, how much be my balance? I go say the money pay now. So Nigerian politicians, you will investigate the cause, the actions people have taken that have pushed so many people into this level of poverty and hunger. Because even President Tinubu, he could say this one to happen under your watch, under a government of renewed hope. People are dying in places where they are struggling to get food. You can reconcile it now, renewed hope and stampede in sharing of food. Nigeria, this country, what exactly is going on in this nation? Nigerian leaders, this is what Nigerian government is providing for Nigerians is the textbook definition of how not to govern a country. Nigeria almost exists so that other nations can learn how not to govern their countries. Look at human beings. Within the last 2 days, the total number of people who don't die for this country, not of sickness or accident or pandemic, from struggling to get what to eat, more than 60 human beings. More than 60 human beings, mostly women and children. Oh my show, Nigerians. It is up to us, Nigerians. No matter how oppression don't take over people, once the majority say enough, it will be enough. 2027 they come. By next year, 2025, we must leave all this talk and move into action. The case of INEC, how we want to fix leadership in this country. Because this Nigeria, me I know that here, we live here. Nigeria must work in my lifetime. And if you think say this one no affect you, your own fit no be Stampede where you they collect food. Your own fit be hospital where ambulance no dey, or school where lecturer they trouble you, or police straight bullets, or kidnapper, or bandits. But if all those one no kill you, maybe now where you struggle to go collect what you go chop, now there you go later die. God forbid a tragedy of a country. Fella said them live sorrow, tears and blood. Now their regular trademark, a government that lives a legacy of sorrow, tears and blood. People are impoverished. People are at the edge, struggling to survive. May God help Nigeria, but most importantly, may Nigerians realize that we are the help we are waiting for and help ourselves.
We're already burning in fire. But listen, I have a message for you. For so many years now, anybody who has wisdom, knowledge, and understanding will know how consistent I have been about Asiwaju's case. Listen, fellow Nigerians, there is just one person to be held responsible for this country. The name Nigeria got to a pause when it was in I. Asiwaju brought Buhari. Buhari used the whole I. The air remaining in Nigeria is in Asiwaju's hands. Roughly about 2 years ago, I did a video. And I said there's nothing anybody can do about it. Asiwaju is going to become the president of this country. Age, scam, name, scam this. A lot of people didn't understand. But the day will come, you all will remember this day. My Gen Z generation will call it clouds. The day has come. Asiwaju, you wanted to be the GCFR. You wanted to be called the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It came from the depth of your heart. You were ambitious, but we serve a wonderful God. The Bible says, ask and it shall be given. Olúwa gbọ́ àdúrà yín, Olúwa gbà fún yín. Níbi tẹ́ ẹ ti ń kánjú, ẹ ò padà béèrè kọ́kọ́rọ́. Olúwa gbà fún yín, ṣùgbọ́n ẹ ò ní kó Olúwa kó fún yín ṣe. Ẹ ò béèrè pé kí Olúwa kó fún yín ṣe. You understand what I'm saying? I understand very well. Àwọn ọmọ kékèké wọ̀nyí ni ò lè yé. Àwa ìṣara yín, àwa darapọ̀ mọ́ yín bí ni. Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu. This country is hanging on your neck. You have to fix this country. You have no choice, my father. You have no choice, my father. It was a trade by barter transaction. And if anybody remembers very well in that video, when you Asiwaju oni jale, àwọn tó máa ṣiṣẹ́ ìlú máa kó wá, ibi èèyàn ti wọ ara yín nìyẹn o. Instead of you to now look for people that will walk this journey with you. They weren't there when you went down to ask for this mantle. Ẹ wá kó àwọn tẹ́tí jọ ń rìbọ̀, àwọn trusted ally. Ẹ wá kó wọn tira. Ẹ ti gbàgbé pé májẹ̀mú ń bẹ. Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, Nigerians are holding you down. I am telling them, if you do not fix this country, Aṣíwájú, we are no longer in the Nigeria of our desire and our hope. You didn't inherit a bad government. You played chess. We know the game very well. You played the chess to get here. Don't blame anybody. You brought Buhari. So don't come and seek pity. Ọ̀rọ̀ yé àwọn ọmọ wa ni. Ẹni ẹ lọ fọkàn balẹ̀. Ẹ máa wọlé kò sí tó lè ṣẹlẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Olúwa náà sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ lọ fọkàn balẹ̀ lówe lẹ́yìn o. Ẹ má rò pé nítorí pé kò yé wọn. Because people don't understand what that proverb is. Because you know that they never understood what you meant by that word. Aṣíwájú, ẹ lọ fọkàn balẹ̀. Mo máa wọlé Aṣíwájú. Àti fọkàn balẹ̀, ẹ ti wọlé Olúwa gbà fún yín mo pẹ̀lú èmi ni mo kọ́kọ́ sọ torí pé mo wádìí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe wádìí mi ni orí ọ̀fẹ́ yẹn ń bẹ lọ́wọ́ mi májẹ̀mú yẹn sì ń bẹ mo kẹ̀ sinmi lé mo jókòó lé tí ò sí kankan tí kankan nu yín lè ṣe. This generation is carried away. We are focused. Our children have become professors of crime. The medical system is not working. Insecurity has taken the mantle as the chief of operation. Dollar and pounds cannot speak anymore. People can't trade anymore. People can't run for medical support anymore. Even the people you call the APC members and all of them, they are languishing and mourning and crying daily. Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, Bagu, fix this country. If you do not do it, as a matter of fact, there is nothing if you do not do it. You must do it. This is not a threat. This is a responsibility hanging on your neck. Remi is aware. Emo Besheri. Emo Esedegbe. Emo Eretesa. Wọ́n bí babanla father yida. Ejaki Nigeria wole. You can't afford to allow this country to sink. I dare you. Ni gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ fi kójọ pẹ̀lú ìran mẹ́wàá yín. Agbonomo yín. How do you sleep and wake up? How do you and the Senate keep speaking values of billions of dollars and naira? And yet we cannot see anything effective. And you keep telling me you have master plan, Kakulu for master planning. Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, this country is hanging on your neck. Nigerians never knew. I am telling them now. He said me, who told Nigerians you were going to become the president of this country. Olúwa sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Lowe, and I will continue to speak in Proverbs. Because I am not meant for everybody to understand. Only the wise will see through me. Aṣíwájú, Basheyi, you have no choice than to fix this country. I dare you. You understand very well that this country is hanging on your neck. How you want to fix it? Ada! Go back and ask for that key. Ìpọ́njú ọ̀jẹ̀kẹ́ dúró béèrè tán. Olúwa gbọ́ yín. Olúwa gbà fún yín. Ẹni pé Olúwa kó fún yín ṣe. Tell God to give you the grace to do it. If we do not begin to see change, GCFR, hey, orúkọ ìyá ọ̀sọ́ mi, GCFR, Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, Nigeria is hanging on your neck. The blood of this country is hanging on your lineage. The bloodshed in this country is hanging on your lineage. Clean and wipe this country. Everything happening in this country is on your neck, Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu. Find a way to fix it. Remi Tinubu, find a way. Tell your husband, the time is near. Tell your husband to fix this country. I am warning you, and I will continue to speak my truth and nothing. You can do everything humanly possible to bring this woman down, or you will never take the truth away from my mouth. Fix this country. Nigeria is hanging in your neck. All this what you are doing. wọn bí bàbá ńlá àwọn tó ń ròyìn lágbára kò sí nǹkan kan tẹ́ dá lè fi òtítọ́ ṣe. Unfortunately, our younger generation, they don't understand the gravity of the failure that is going to occur if you fail to fix this country. They are carried away in their own lusts. They are carried away in their own strength. They have nothing. They are not expecting anything from this government. They are not expecting anything from our leaders because they are no longer leaders of tomorrow. A lot of them have become professors of crime at the detriment of who they are supposed to be because of the same government. You have failed them. You have failed the youth. You failed the adults. You failed the old. You failed the aged. Fix this country. Nobody is begging you. You owe this country. You are indebted to this country. Let nobody be deceived. You must fix this country. You have to fix this country. I have no other place to call my motherland. And everything supersedes. The spirit of humanity. The spirit of humanity supersedes everything. And that spirit, you have to find a way. You have fulfilled your ambition. You now need to become the father of the nation. You have to. Everybody is your children now. It is no longer here and this and that. Cannot bear it. Nigeria is on your neck. I'm saying it. You did not inherit a bad government. You did not. That was part of the chess game that you people played. Fix this country. Fix this country or else. Hey! As you do, now so I go they shout, they go. Fix this country. Me Oberu. I no fear anyone when I won't bring for me. Moduro Tony, make track no buy sorrow. Everybody share. It is share to una don't play finish. You don't play finish. Una don't play. You better start getting to work and know how to fix this motherland. We are not joking. We are desperate for change. We are hungry for change. We are questing for change. Change is a burning fire, and it is only you that can fix it. No other person. It was a trade by barter transaction you had with God. You requested, He gave you. You forgot to collect your own assignment. I have brought the assignment message back to you.
Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending with reactions trailing the death of more than 70 Nigerians who died in stampedes in 3 different locations, Ibadan, Anambra, and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, in less than a week. The tragic deaths, which underscore the lack of crowd control measures at public gatherings, have been addressed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who over the weekend cancelled his scheduled events in Lagos to honor the victims. In a statement posted on X, the president noted the disturbing resemblance between the mishaps at the Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Maitama, Abuja, and a community center in Okija, Anambra State, as well as the tragic incident at the Children's Carnival in Ibadan, Oyo State. The president further directed local and state authorities not to tolerate operational lapses by organizations and corporate bodies involved in charitable and humanitarian activities. Well, 22 people died in Anambra State, while 15 died in Abuja during rice distribution events to celebrate Christmas. Let's take some tweets. This is from Ben, who wrote, "Until the government takes responsibility and prioritizes the safety of its citizens, these avoidable incidents will persist. Instead of assembling people for a few cups of rice, why not collaborate with banks to identify the poorest or utilize the social register to credit them directly? Why should people lose their lives simply because they are hungry and searching for food? It reflects poorly on the government, while they may claim they aren't directly responsible. Where crowds gather, what contingency plans are in place to handle emergencies? Our leaders are quick to allocate funds or luxury cars, planes or yachts, yet there are no functional emergency services to respond in times of crisis." I really liked Ben's tweet because, I mean, it sums up the whole conversation that we've been having here for the past 3 days. And I also wanted to highlight the point that he made about these sort of distributions. There are so many philanthropists now that, they do send, money directly to the beneficiaries. There's no need for all these sort of display because they want to post it up on whatever their foundations. Sometimes, times like this, you can actually use the banks to usher in your philanthropic efforts. Well, let me take another tweet. This is from Okpara, who wrote, "We must address the issue of hunger and poverty in the land. No people become prosperous through handouts and charity, which is the reason I'm against charity. In truth, no African nation have developed through charities and handouts from developed nations. The Tinubu administration must be stopped from weaponizing poverty as a way to instill civil obedience. Federal government must call for national mourning and ensure such tragedy is not on repeat." I mean, we've seen pictures everywhere before the tragedy struck in Anambra State. I did see a picture from the Leadership newspaper where people, were queuing for palliatives. You can pull up those pictures. And it did appear that there were security forces in place. If we can pull up those pictures in Okija, Ihala, and, we saw on Saturday morning, before that stampede, it appeared that OB Jackson event, it appeared that, there was some sort of organization. There you go. There were security forces in place before the distribution began. So, I mean, it all boils down to the fact that we're not able to organize this event in a strategic manner to avoid the needless loss of lives. Rufai.
So, couple of things. I was here when I said it will happen again last week. And it did happen again. And it wasn't because I was swearing or I wanted disaster to happen. It's because I know that culture will eat strategy for breakfast. And we have a culture of not effectively managing crowds. And it's not even only in the rural areas. Even the big events. We have a culture of not effectively managing crowds. So, until we now start to bring about a change to that culture, they will not go further. I mean, and IU had given very simple suggestions like what the Lagos state government does, where there's a safety commission that can look at the situation and what is happening. So maybe this will lead us to that. Secondly, Oji, charity is a good thing. I'll tell you something today. Do you know that most of the Western nations people run to, their government does charity for the citizens to be able to subsidize their living? Britain, France, in fact, the French budget, it takes a sizable part of the budget. Even America, a sizable part. Obamacare, what is it? Medicaid, what is it? These are projects.
The NHS itself is...
The GI Bill, what is it?
Yeah.
Because it was through the GI Bill
right.
that a lot of people went to school.
Yeah.
See, during COVID, America gave two things. They gave a furlough scheme, which was to pay the bills of those, their workers' salaries. They also gave food. But the way they did their food, so those that are saying don't give food, no, you have to give food. Yes. Because there are some people that is the food that is more pertinent to them. Yeah. The money will not be able to get them the resource. It's the food.
They can buy the food with the money now.
No, it's not that easy.
Oh, really?
And I'll tell you why, Oji. Because I'm in this space. Where you buy a bulk, you buy cheaper. You can get better mileage. Than when you buy one in the market.
But don't you know the price of a bag of rice? If you're going to give out a bag of rice, just give them the amount of money for the bag of rice. Sometimes it could be. So let me say something, Rufai. I love your point. I'm not disregarding your point. It's completely apt. But the point is, it's not just about these crowd control measures that we're seeing. There needs to be some sort of national orientation with Nigerians. Charity is great.
That's where you're going.
But Nigerians love to rush.
That's where you're going.
They're not used to this sort of distribution.
Let me now come to the political part.
About that.
OB Jackson have been doing this for so many years.
Yes.
But why is this here? Because the pain is times 10.
Yes.
There's a lot of pain under President Tinubu. We can't devolve that fact.
Yeah.
We do not encourage people to rush, but the pain is times 10.
Yes.
Everywhere around in the world, the government gives some form of food aid. America have a food stamp system. That's a form of charity. People still rushing with their food stamp to be able to get this food. But it's the planning we should now look at. It's the agencies of government that we should now look at that can do something as regards this and can help the people away from all of this pain and pain. My heart goes out to these people. But it's not still going to stop charity. In that same Anambra, I have friends that over 15 different points which they were sharing, but there was more organization in how they were sharing. I think it's the organization. There's no how urgent. A lot of people are suffering, and government, even the government that are developed, the nations that are developed, they still give some form of aid.
So we have to implement better crowd control.
Better crowd control.
Like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has called for. And you know, these people didn't need to die at this point. We know that, you know, the Inspector General of Police over the weekend, reacting to the stampedes in Oyo, Anambra, and the Federal Capital Territory, called for, and he actually warned against unorganized distribution of palliatives and relief items in the country during the festive period. We're even talking about all of these measures. You told me about the incident in Awolowo Road just recently. We have a video just right in Ikoyi here. The distribution at the Catholic Church, they do it every time, but you can see Nigerians, they were like everywhere rushing, and there was no point. There's no organization here. And this is Awolowo. This just happened this morning, and it's still happening.
That's already on the road.
Yes, yes.
If a car loses control, it's chaos.
So what the police, the IG released the statement over the weekend, and this is happening today. So what is he doing? What is the police doing about it? We've heard of La Sema, right? We've heard about, you know, finding ways to make sure that you register your events with them in order to avoid this sort of stampede.
They call Dirty December. I don't think it is the same for so many families in Nigeria, especially the families of the victims of the stampede in Ibadan, at Okija, as well as in FCT, Abuja. All that happened in the last 48 hours, which have seen to the sudden death, tragic death of over 70, over 70 people, including children, in Nigeria, because of the level of poverty that the APC, Egbekegbe, has brought upon that country and the people. Although the people themselves are not completely innocent, as they say, what you should be very careful of what you wish for. We have those who are enablers of bad governance, enablers of all these crooked criminals, those who continue to validate them in that contraption. But the unfortunate thing is, those who enable these criminals who have hijacked power in Nigeria are misruling and ruining Nigeria are not, the only people that are going to face the consequences of their actions. Innocent people, including those who rejected them, who did everything to reject these rogues, are going to share or are sharing in the destruction of that contraption as we speak. Economically, Tinubu and his gang have destroyed Nigeria beyond any repair. It is, again, unfortunate that there are those who believe that they cannot be held responsible for this destruction, for this economic ruin wholly, but they are responsible for every death that is preventable in that contraption from the 2015 when they hijacked power in that contraption. So again, their supporters, their defenders, their enablers are not the only people that are going to share in these consequences. Innocent people, innocent children are now being killed every day from one tragedy to another. But again, the Tinubu and his gang, like I've said many times on this platform, they will feed you with propaganda. You will eat propaganda to the point that some of you begin to ask yourselves, are this guy talking about this same Nigeria, or they are talking about another Nigeria? Of course, they are talking about this same your Nigeria, where a lot of you are comfortable with the lies, and you probably love to also ignore the data by becoming superstitious in the sense that you will ignore data and you begin to point to this your sky daddy, the miracle worker, or the magician, because there's nothing where God no fit do. Even when the criminals' actions are pointing to a direction of ruin and destruction, economic destruction, their religious partners, the pulpit bandits, as well as the Islamic jihadists who are kind of like defending these rogues at the same time, pointing your attention or diverting your attention to something so stupid as using religion as a cover, where they are going to make you believe that, you see, if you pray very well, if you have faith, and if you have belief, whatever it is that is happening to people in Nigeria economically will not happen to you, so you have to be strong and all of that nonsense. They are the partners of these rogues anyway, where you ignore data and begin to hope on falsehood, on lies, blaspheming against that your God or your sky daddy, so to say. It's unfortunate. So on Mayegun's diary political, we kind of do our best to ensure that data, which is very stubborn, data don't lie, okay? And no matter how much people try to gaslight you, blackmail you, in any way, if you stick to data, you will never be wrong. On Mayegun's diary political, we barely ever be wrong. We've never really been wrong, especially when we are treating the available information about these rogues, Tinubu, APC, Ebekebe, and everything about them, which reeks of lies. We've never been wrong. But you are dealing with chronic career criminals. So yesterday, Wale Idun was on channels. And this is one thing I personally also detest about the media in Nigeria. I believe that majority of them are just so daft, or they are the product of the society they have, created. You see, the criminal politicians will come on here to your studio and they will be dishing out lies, but you'll be so afraid to confront them with facts, with the truth. As much as they probably have the power to shut you down, but you hold the people the responsibility of sharing the truth, the state of things. When you see somebody that claims to be the person in charge of your economy, the finance minister of the druggy call, I'm talking about Wale Idun, is there not using data, no data, just that. Should arm yourself with verifiable data, facts, rather than just listening to somebody that continue to use innuendos, a fake figure, fake data that cannot be verified by anybody. So your job as a media is to confront them with the truth, confront them with facts for facts, not fiction. Unfortunately, it seems like the Nigeria media is a platform for propaganda, and APC, Ebekebe, they have acted. Nigeria is going through hell right now. Economically, Nigeria is battling with what is called hyperinflation. How many of you can believe that when these guys took over power in 2015 to start with, the inflation in Nigeria was 7.5%? How many of you can still remember or believe that? That the Nigeria GDP, the based economy at the time, was put at $570 billion. You had businesses that were operating in that place, right? You had jobs. People had jobs. In fact, the majority of those who brought this APC, Ebekebe, to power, they used their personal money to run campaign for APC, Ebekebe, because they had jobs. Today, majority of them have either run out of Nigeria or they have turned to Bambialas, what we call the executive beggars online. Begging now became a pastime. It has become a job for so many people. 9 years after APC, Ebekebe. How many of you remember that the inflation in Nigeria was 7.5% in 2015? The one that APC said was a terrible economy. 9 years down the line, first with Bukwari. Bukwari destroyed Nigeria economy, devalued Nigerian currency, debased Nigeria economy, crashed it into half. In 8 years, Bukwari destroyed Nigeria economy that was $570 billion worth, down to 230 billion. I mean, 250 billion. Like more than half of Nigeria economy was lost under Bukwari. And within a year, that same economy under Tinubu has crumbled. Bukwari in 8 years destroyed Nigeria economy to the point that inflation jumped to 20.5% in 8 years. Do you know something? Within the space of 18 months, 1 year, 6 months, Tinubu, the Oluwole accountancy, Deloitte accountancy, destroyed Nigeria economy, from 20% inflation, which was almost hyperinflation itself, by the way, to what is now 36% inflation, 16% collapse, 16% devaluation of your own economy, hyperinflation at the highest. But guess what? The Wale Idu and Co, they have the audacity to be saying it and repeating it, that Nigeria economy is recovering. That Tinubu saved you. He saved you from economic ruin. How is that saving you? That is what you call propaganda. They will lie to your face. Nigeria Naira was 148 Naira official to $1 when these criminals took over power. At the black market, Nigeria Naira was 199 Naira to $1 when these criminals took over power 9 years ago. Today, Nigeria Naira is 1,760 Naira to $1. Guess what? Tinubu saved you. In 8 years, Nigeria Naira collapsed from 149 Naira to $1 to 610 Naira to $1. And within 18 months of Tinubu, Nigeria Naira collapsed to 1,760 Naira to $1. So he saved you. Bukwari printed 27.5 trillion Naira in 8 years. Tinubu has printed to over 25 trillion Naira in 18 months. But they saved you. They have the audacity to say that. And the guy is saying that everything is coming down now. The price of goods coming down. People are now able to afford things. And this is what you call propaganda. In the same breath, people are dying from trying to get a bag of rice. They are dying from trying to get 5,000 Naira and plate of food in an economy that is recovering. A liter of petroleum was, damn it, man, 97 Naira per liter. They said Nigeria, they said it should have been 14 Naira per liter of petroleum. Nigerian refineries were working at over 55% capacity when this, I don't know if all of you even remember any of this anymore. Do you know that Nigerian refineries, Wario, partially Kaduna, this Port Harcourt, old and new refinery, do you know that they were actually like working at over 55% capacity? The Nigeria was importing 45% of its local consumption at the time, and Nigeria was paying just somewhere around the 250 billion Naira on subsidy before these rogues came in. Do you even remember that anymore? Did anybody actually still remember that? Because it's been so short a while that people have forgotten what they rejected before they embraced these criminals. Do you remember that at all? That the subsidy in Nigeria that Jonathan was paying was between 200 and 250 billion Naira a year. And the Nigerian refineries were working at over 55% capacity. Do you remember that at all? Okay, I am reminding you. It doesn't really matter anymore. Because the rogues who told you that you deserved better, what did they do? Nigeria's debt, the Nigeria's national debt, was put at $13.5 billion. Today, Nigeria's national debt is over $120 billion. The exchange rate was 149 Naira to $1 official. Today, it is 1,760 Naira to $1. We were told 1.2 million Nigerians were displaced living in IDP camps across Nigeria. Today, the number has grown to over 10 million Nigerians displaced from their homes living in IDP camps. 3.5 million children were out of school 9 years ago. Today, there are over 22 million out of school children. Nigeria was generating over 8,000 megawatts of electricity, distributing over 6,000 of the same electricity. Today, 9 years after, Nigeria is struggling to generate 5,000 megawatt electricity, distributing less than 2,000 megawatt electricity. Is that progress or retrogression? Eh? A liter of petroleum was 97 naira per liter when these rogues took over. Today, a liter of petroleum is over 1,000 naira. The number of poor people in Nigeria, according to the available record in Nigeria before these rogues, was put at 67 million Nigerians living below poverty line. Today, the number is over 140 million Nigerians living below poverty line. Out of that, 120 million Nigerians are facing what is called famine, food starvation in 2025. Where is the progress? These guys they keep claiming to be sharing money, right? From paying, oh God, man. APC, man. You do not hate APC enough. Unfortunately, the level of their state capture is legendary. And today, they will force feed you. It's not even like something you're going to take peacefully. They will force feed you with propaganda. So much that you'll be asking, you'll probably be so lost, confused if you are talking about this Nigeria. Listen to this mofo from Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as your finance minister and the person managing your economy, to this clown, old man that is lying, criminals with confidence in that contraption.
Well, let me put it in context for you. As I was saying earlier, the first thing I will say is that things have changed. In 18 relatively short months, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has changed the Nigerian economy, has changed the Nigerian society in such a way that is now faced in the right direction, and one can see a clear path, not to just so many other targets, important targets and indicators, but even to lower inflation through achieving market pricing of petroleum products and achieving market pricing of foreign exchange. The change in the economy represents 5% saving. From now, ad infinitum, a 5% of GDP saved from being wasted, being of no value to the economy, and benefiting just a few who had privileged access to foreign exchange and to subsidized foreign exchange and to petroleum products that were distributed in a very opaque manner, and of course benefiting neighboring countries that were getting smuggled petroleum products. So that saving is now going to be revenue to government that helps to not just build up the fiscal capacity of government, the government's inability to meet its spending requirements, both for social spending and infrastructure, but it changes all the metrics. But as your revenue increases, your debt service as a percentage of GDP goes down. As your revenue increases, your deficit as a percentage of GDP goes down. So the country is faced in the right direction in terms of all the metrics that you talk about, including inflation. And of course, there's major interventions in agriculture and even in manufacturing to increase supply and bring down prices. But the other way in which the society has changed fundamentally and therefore is no longer on the trajectory which you described is in terms of the incentive framework. There's no Nigerian that wake up today and feel that his best way forward, his best way to riches or even to a good living is to have privileged access to foreign exchange allocated from central bank. That no longer exists. Similarly, no Nigerian can wake up and feel that his best chance is to get an allocation, a concession, a permit related to petroleum products and be one of the privileged people that have this access, which they can just trade the piece of paper. That was the refrain 18 months ago, that these are the ways to make it in Nigeria. Instead now, the emphasis and the incentive is on agricultural production, agricultural exports, manufacturing, and manufactured exports for the West Africa region and even for the continent as a whole. So that is the way in which the changes that have been wrought and that are being sustained with determination, with courage and boldness by Mr. President and his administration are giving Nigerians much optimism and hope that things are definitely going to be better and in the nearest future.
Nuisance, Lily.
Nuisance. Could you make any sense of that? Can anybody please make any sense of what this guy just said? What you just heard now? Can you make any sense of that? Blabbing. Like, oh my God. So when I try to want to make a sense of what he's saying, the more I try, the more angrier I kind of feel. That was supposed to be a country where you have educated people, okay? And it couldn't really make a clear, straight sentence. Then dropping fundamentally direction or fundamental. The Nigerian society has changed fundamentally. What does that even mean? What is changed fundamentally? What does that mean? Like for good or for the gutters? Now take a look. He said something like nobody can wake up anymore and think it can be allocated petrol. Who is allocating petrol to who in Nigeria? Before, I mean, have you ever heard anything like that? Like allocate petrol to people, that they can just get allocated petrol. Like who is allocating petrol to who? He said something like, people cannot just wake up and then get allocated. They think they can just get allocated dollars from the central bank. Are they still not doing it? Are they still not doing their normal round tripping? Didn't they announce that they already changed in Nigeria, which according to them, they were the reasons why Nigerian naira was crashing. So therefore, they banned them, right? And then they told them to go and pay a certain amount of money so that they will get another new license issued by them, by these Tinubu guys. And then they are celebrating sharing dollars to them, telling them how much to sell dollars. Is that not a kind of a public information? That's available in everywhere, Nabi. But they're not telling you that they've distributed over 1.5 billion. They did distribute over 1.5 billion. Just as recent, the Akadobi shared over $1.5 billion to Burundi change in Nigeria so that they can control how much exchange rate is in Nigeria. Is that not I'm tripping? But this is not the same guys who told you that market forces will determine how much the dollar naira will exchange for and how much petrol and what have you will be sold for, blah, 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 market forces. Like what is he talking about? He's saying something about direction of agriculture. Hello? I remember when Egbere Jolantan, before this Boko Haram of a thing, and then the Fulani terrorists took over, Nigeria used to have a silo. Yeah. Oh my God, like, there are things that you used to have in that place. So now they are like, if I try to remind some of you, they are going to be sounding like I'm talking about 1960. But this was just 9 years ago. 9 years ago, Nigeria. Less than a decade. All the things, you used to have farms funded by the federal government of Nigeria. You used to have reserves of food, grains. When Boko Haram came in 2015, in his effort to try to want to combat hunger in northern Nigeria, I don't know if you remember, well, internet doesn't forget. You can use your other phone right now and Google this. 210 trucks of grains were released from the National Reserve. That National Reserve right now no get any single bag of grain. For 9 years, APC, Ebekede, has been unable to grow food or harvest anything, talk less of preserving or saving anything. For 9 years, they took a loan of $2 billion from the African Development Bank, where this guy is additional, was the Akimumi additional. They gave Nigeria $2.4 billion to fund agriculture in Nigeria. But guess what? Half of the farms, which were mostly in northern Nigeria, half of the farms, when it was time for them to harvest, Boko Haram took over those farms. In Borno, in Sokoto, in all these places. They took over the farms. That was why they packed sawdust, sand, and what they call the rice paddy, to build a fake rice pyramid in Abuja. That they have harvested rice, and yet the price of food never changed. It kept going up and up and up and up. Food inflation in Nigeria, because it was fake. They needed to justify that the money they took from African Development Bank, AFDB, that it was a success, but it wasn't. Central Bank of Nigeria, that's part of the loan Nigeria is owing now. $2.4 billion entered Ghana because of the insecurity, because of the Fulani terrorism, because of the Boko Haram, especially from northern part of Nigeria. They had to put up a fake pyramid, rice pyramid in Abuja. Emefiole and gang. They took Boko Haram there. You saw the, you remember now, I can bring you the video and ask them, where is the rice afterward? Because it was fake. So can anybody tell me where is Nigeria government, Tinubu's government, currently funding agriculture and where those farms are in Nigeria? Till tomorrow, if you go and Google where they spent Jonathan's money on agriculture, it's online. Go on now and check it. Kebbi, especially in Kebbi. These guys emptied the national silo of Nigeria and they've added not a single grain to that up to today. Now they are what? They are importing the rice that they are bagging and sharing. That is why if you have any problem flooding, they will give you rice. If you have a complaint of unemployment, they will give you rice. If you are complaining of poor security, they will give you rice. Whatever it is your problem that you are complaining about, they will give you rice. Imported rice. And that's a new contract for the boys to bring in rice from all over the world so that they can bag them and share rice. I wonder why they are not sharing rice this December like they did last December, remember? But the coordinating minister of economy, Wale Idun, is blabbing on national television, telling you that Tinubu is taking you to a new direction, a better direction. So in December 2025, when your Shege, when your Bedu enter body very well, okay, they will be ready again to tell you how much Tinubu saved you as well. So it's supposed to be economists, statistics, economists. This one.